Good day, welcome to the budget edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. I'm Eric Gross, your host, along with Superintendent of Schools, Christine Tona. Good seeing you again.
Nice to see you as well, Eric.
The budget, a long process. A budget that actually begins probably the day after the budget is approved the year before.
Yes, we're always thinking about what we can provide our students. So yeah, the day after budget vote is the next process starts.
The budget this year totals $137.9 million. That's a 2.81% tax levy increase. How did that come about?
So earlier in the school year, we've started meeting with all the administrators, finding out what their wish list items were, what were the programs that we need to include in the budget to provide every opportunity for our students. So once we got all that information and put the numbers together, we were able to determine that that almost $137 million budget could carry a 2.81 tax levy increase,
Right.
which is less than the allowable tax levy increase of 3.71%. So we were able to maintain everything existing in the budget and add some really nice programs and additional information, opportunities for students, facilities, and still stay lower than the allowable tax levy increase.
We're going to be talking about that in the next few minutes. Tell us some of these budget highlights in curriculum and instruction.
Sure. So we're so proud of our STEM program that we're looking to expand that even more with additional elective offerings at the high school, continuing Project Lead the Way, continuing the Gateway program at the middle school. And at the elementary school, we've had one STEM coach that went between the three elementary schools. So we're able to do some restructuring and provide a dedicated STEM coach to each of our three elementary schools. So that is a huge opportunity for all of our students, K-12, to get opportunities in coding, engineering principles from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. We're also looking to add electives at the high school. Our ninth graders currently take MHS Life for a semester, and opposite that semester they currently have a study hall. So we were able to do some restructuring to provide them electives to eliminate those study halls. So our ninth graders, as soon as they come in, they can get electives or additional support based on what they need instead of having a study hall.
One of the items that stuck out when I was reading this information, the creation of a career pathway program. That is so exciting for high school kids.
Very exciting. So we currently have a lot of engineering offerings, which technically could be considered a pathway. We're also looking to add some coursework in education for students who are considering careers as teachers in the future. So we hope to expand upon that in future years and put together a program of coursework where the students then, when they're applying to college, they could put on their transcript and their application, I took a dedicated block of courses in this area which prepared me for the decision of whatever major they select. Or the courses will help them determine what major they don't want to select, thus saving a lot of time and money at the college level. It's hard for students to decide what their major is going to be, so hopefully this pathway program will help them.
And also for the faculty and staff, a literacy coach.
We currently
Something
have
new.
one,
Yes.
so we're looking to add a second,
Okay.
which will allow us to eliminate the need to contract some professional development from the outside by having an internal person. And when we have a dedicated person doing that, that's 180 days of support as opposed to a few days here, a few days there from contracted individuals.
With all we hear going on in the world today, in the country today, the need for more mental health services, the budget contains this as well.
Yes, it does. So currently, the middle school does not have a social worker. We actually started a social worker position last week with funds provided from the county health department through a grant. But we want to make sure that we continue that next school year. So that's included in the budget for a full-time social worker at the middle school. Before last week, there wasn't one there. And it's important for us to have that support for our students.
And what is a board-certified behavioral analyst?
So a board-certified behavioral analyst, or BCBA, which makes it a lot easier to say, that individual supports our special education staff and students with helping to determine appropriate interventions to help those students be able to be most successful in the classroom.
Now also expanding the United Athletics program to include bowling. We have some great bowlers in Mayapack, by the way.
Yeah, so we have bowling as a
Yeah.
varsity sport. So the athletics program for special education students, the unified program, we currently have basketball. We're adding bowling. So these are for our special needs students so that they can feel successful and have the opportunity to be part of a team.
Well, there was a recent Special Olympics tryouts right here at Mayapack High.
Yes?
And it's just so wonderful having everyone, the inclusion, everyone taking part.
That's right. It's an opportunity for our special needs students to have those opportunities and opportunities for our general ed students to take on leadership roles, to be buddies to the special needs students, and perhaps consider a career pathway in something in special education or education in general.
Athletics, the creation of a girls' ice hockey and boys' swimming team. We're going to be working with other schools on this.
Correct. Those would be through mergers.
Yeah.
We have interest in those areas, and we're looking forward to including those opportunities for our students next year. And there are a couple of other areas that we're looking at for future years as well.
And of course, the high school gymnasium is used virtually 7 days a week. And the high school gym is going to get its floor sanded and refinished.
That's right. So that'll be a summer project.
Right.
And that's one of the areas also with the mascot change that's
Yes.
upcoming. So we have to make a change there for the look of the floor to comply with that mandate.
Talking about the mascot change, a little aside. Last time you told us that the children were going to be selecting the mascot. How are those nominations coming in?
It's coming along. So the committee has met a couple of times. We're meeting again in the next several days, and we'll be finalizing 3 options for the students to consider on May 16th during the school day. I'll be communicating information to the whole community in advance of that so that parents and family members are aware so that they can have those conversations with their children before they come in to vote on the 16th.
And the vote will be announced, the results will be announced that night.
The results will be announced on May 18th.
On May 18th.
At the board meeting.
Okay.
And then the board is going to take in all of that information, and then at the June meeting, they'll look to adopt the mascot and our plan that we have to put in place.
Unveil the new mascot.
Yes.
Exciting times.
It is.
Very, very
It is.
exciting. You know, transportation critical in a school district like Mayapack. Plans in the budget call for an additional lift at the bus garage for fleet maintenance.
That's right. So
Very important.
we have our own fleet of buses, over 100 vehicles, and it's important for the safety of our students to have those vehicles in top condition. So,
And a dispatcher also.
because we have one,
Right.
but one person cannot cover the 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. that our transportation department is functioning. So a second dispatcher will allow us to have someone present in the transportation department to communicate with families and with the drivers all day long.
There's also some discussion in the budget concerning a neutral administration restructuring. Naming people, give it new titles.
Yes, and some new positions as well. So through the restructuring, we're eliminating the assistant superintendent position of assistant superintendent for PPS and technology. And in place of that position, we're having a director of special ed, which we currently have as an interim position, as well as a director of technology. That assistant superintendent also oversaw safety and security, so we're going to have a dedicated administrator to help coordinate safety and security. We're also looking at our special education department to have a director, an assistant director, and 2 administrators, 1 elementary, 1 secondary. So basically, it is budget neutral with moving positions around and some elimination of some contracted individuals. And I'm excited about providing the support to our staff and our community in all of the areas.
You know, it's so interesting. We talk about student population. For years, Putnam County, Mayapack schools, numbers were climbing, up and up and up. For the first time in a while, the sudden decline a little bit.
We've been declining for the past several years, but it's a steady decline. And when you look across buildings and across grade levels, it's minimal on a grade level basis. So it's not enough to change our staffing. So at the elementary level, we're looking at the same number of sections between general education and integrated co-teaching that we have currently, and continuing to enjoy small class sizes.
Expenditures, 53% salaries, benefits, BOCES, contract services. School districts are a person, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's a people business.
People business,
Yeah.
a person, people business. And you need qualified, competent people, which comprises most of the budget.
That's right, almost 80% between salary and benefits, and that's it. It's a people business. We need people to teach our students, support our students, drive them to and from school. So if you look across New York State, the majority of the expenditures in a budget are related to staffing.
People always ask when it comes to school budgets, what's going to cost me? How much more is it going to cost? What's the tax levy impact?
So it's an estimated amount at this time. We've been working with the town assessor's office in both Carmel and Putnam Valley towns, and they're not going to have final numbers for us until August. But we're looking at, for a home assessed at approximately $500,000 at about $24.40 a month increase. We also know that the board recently approved some exemptions, the increase to the veterans exemption.
Right. Firefighters?
The firefighters and ambulance workers, that's a new exemption, as well as an increase in the senior citizen and persons with disabilities exemption. And the county adopted levels that are higher than what we currently adopted, and the board wants to make sure of what the numbers are before they go back and take another look at that. So with all that being said, these monthly increases are estimates.
Okay. There'll be another proposition on the ballot dealing with buses, school buses. Again, Mayapack, Putnam County, you need school buses to get the kids to school.
Yes.
8 65-passenger buses with air conditioning.
Correct. So it's part of a rotation replacement process. This proposition was on the budget last year for adoption, and it passed. So it allows us to maintain our fleet, and every year we retire some buses that are older and get new buses so that we have the safest fleet possible on the roads to take our students to and from school, sporting events, and extracurricular activities.
And these buses will not be delivered for probably about a year from now, correct?
Well, for this year, what was approved last year, we got some throughout the year. So we got a few
Okay.
buses this month, a few buses that month, but they all didn't come in at the same time, so.
Because I know that the emergency services profession, Carmel Police still waiting for police cars that were ordered 2 years ago.
Yes, we keep hearing supply chain issues, but ultimately we get what we order, so.
Okay, great. And the Mayapack School District buses, what do they travel about? Almost 1 million miles a year.
Yeah.
That's a big district.
It's a big district, and we have buses that take students to out-of-district placements for special education, as well as athletic events. So, like I said, the priority is safety and making sure that our buses are maintained, they are new, or not aging. That's definitely the priority, to make sure our students are safe.
Should the budget go down, it has in the past, should it go down, contingency budget, what does that mean?
Contingency budget means we have to levy the exact amount of tax levy that we are currently levying in the 22-23 school year. So that dollar amount is a little over $2.5 million that would need to be cut from the budget in order to have a budget that can be implemented in the 23-24 school year. So should the budget fail on May 16th, the board would have to make a decision whether to put it up for a second vote. They could also opt to go straight to contingency. That's a board decision. Ultimately, if the budget does not pass, we would have to cut more than $2.5 million from the budget. So we would automatically have to eliminate all equipment purchases, because that's a New York State requirement when you're on contingency. And the rest of it, we'd have to look at our programs, our staffing, class sizes.
It's very painful.
Yes, it's not something that any district wants to do.
Yeah. So how does the budget benefit students in the Mayapack schools?
So it provides so many opportunities. It maintains all of the wonderful things that are currently in place, the academic programs, the extracurricular activities, the athletics, as well as the additional programs, expanding our electives at the high school, expanding our STEM opportunities. We're adding a library media specialist because we have 2 brand new libraries at Austin Road and Fulmer Road that will be in play for next year. And it would be wonderful to have a certified library media specialist to help coordinate some of the programs and use in that library. And then Lakeview will be getting a new library next year, and a year from now we'll talk about what the need is so that we can provide all of our students with a certified library media specialist.
And as we said before, mental health service is also a big, important,
Yes.
very important.
Yes, and we continue to look at what are the needs of our students, how can we support them as best as possible. We have a terrific clinician staff currently, and we're looking forward to adding a full-time social worker at the middle school.
Budget hearing May 4th.
Budget hearing May 4th, so
Come
that's,
out,
yes, 7
ask
p.m.
questions.
Yeah, that's what it's for. It's for the community to come out. I'm also visiting PTO meetings, faculty meetings, and community organizations throughout the district. So there's plenty of opportunities for the community to learn about the budget.
And of course, the budget brochure will be delivered as well.
Yes, that's been finalized. That'll hit the mail soon.
And of course, you're watching it on television here. And if you have any questions about the budget, contact the administrative office.
Definitely. Please reach out if you have any questions. This budget is a 4.15% budget-to-budget increase. That is different from the tax levy increase. So when we have the current budget, we're looking to increase it by 4.15%, and that translates to a 2.81% tax levy increase.
Budget vote, May 16th, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Mahopac High School. Do your civic responsibility. Get out and vote. Christine, want to add anything else?
Oh, I echo what you just said, Eric. Please make sure that you share with your family, your friends. Come on out and vote on May 16th. It's so important.
Christine Tona, Superintendent of Schools in the Mahopac School District. I'm Eric Gross. We thank you so much for joining us for this special edition, the budget edition of Spotlight on Mahopac Schools. Until next time, be well. May 16th, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Get out and vote.
For more information, please visit our website, www.mahopac.org. More videos can also be found on our YouTube news channel, MCSD.news.